how to attract and keep the best people in your industry. At your practice, do you find that maybe your retention of the best people is so, not great? You find that the people that you do retain are actually not the best people? Well, in this short video, I'm going to show you a technique that you can implement in your practice fairly simply to boost, to attract, and to keep the best people in your industry. Now, as a little bit of background, this week on my podcast, I interviewed a guy whose business was ranked the #1 business to work at in his entire state. And this was out of about 400,000 businesses, apparently. So there's some real lessons from that guy, aren't there? Now, I'm going to tell you what they were in a second, but first let's talk about why. Why should we want to aspire to have our business ranked as the #1 place to work for staff? The truth is, even if we never make it to #1, certainly getting higher and higher, there's real benefit. Of course, there's the sense of attracting great people and keeping great people. And in fact, Matt O'Neill, who I interviewed on the podcast, said there's some data that suggests the cost to your business of losing really good people can be literally a multiple of their annual salary. How is that possible? Well, for example, they could take a bunch of IP with them. They could certainly take relationships with other team members and staff with them. Maybe the impact that they have on culture, etc., etc. So there's in fact pretty strong business cases for really making your practice a much better place to work. So if that's the why, then the question is the how. And what happened in Matt's case is that his practice actually wasn't rated as that good a place to work, but over time he did the technique I'm about to tell you. Once a quarter, he would survey all the staff with just 3 questions. Question 1, what do you like about the workplace? What would you change about the workplace? And then the third question is name, which is optional. So, what do you like about it? What would you change about it? And then the name, which is optional. And then at an off-site meeting once a quarter, go with the management team. And even if your practice is small, maybe it's just you and the practice manager, go off-site and look through that feedback from the team. Now, the truth is, he said that feedback was in many cases quite confronting. You can imagine what it's like where you think you're trying to do a certain thing and then you get the feedback and the staff say, well, you need to change that. But he said, over time he was able to implement those changes, not necessarily everything, but certainly find ways to implement those changes over time. And that resulted in him being in the top 10 ranking 4 years in a row and eventually getting to the top ranked business in the whole of his state. So it's a great aspiration. It's definitely something I'm going to do in my business, and it's something that you can do too. See you next time.